Welcome back to another Soul Powerful Wellness Collective session. I am Dr. Makita Moore, the CEO and founder of the Soul Powerful Wellness Collective, where our mission is to bring you mental and spiritual health tools, training, skills, and support in a safe virtual community setting. If you're currently a member, welcome back. And if you have not joined the Wellness Collective yet, go ahead and visit drmakita.com/SOL to join the collective today. Okay. All right. Well, welcome back to another Soul Powerful session. It is Plant Therapy Thursdays, and today we are going to be talking about the power of mindful eating and how mindful eating can influence our mental health. And when I say influence, I mean improve our mental health. Okay. So we are going to start with some grounding just to prepare us for learning today. And this is in itself a mindful practice. And I'll explain what mindfulness is and mindful eating is once we get into the lecture. But we'll start for now with some grounding. So let's go ahead and begin to bring our focus into this moment. Really arrive our attention here. Maybe you begin to become aware of your breath. And maybe you deepen that breath. And you connect more to your body in this moment. And then deepening that breath and connecting more to your body. Your mind is less active than it was. We'll take some deep breaths together to arrive here in the moment, separating ourselves from everything that happened before this moment and what lies ahead in the future, and being here in the now. So when you're ready, I want you to take a deep breath in and then go ahead and release that breath out. Feel yourself settling here into the moment. Go ahead and take another deep breath in. And as you release, feel yourself grounding to this moment, noticing your body connected to whatever surface you are seated in or laying on. Let's do another breath. When you're ready, take a nice deep breath in. And as you release, clearing away any other worries or thoughts occupying your mind, and bring yourself to the here and the now. With that relaxed mind and calm body, we can put our mind and body in a state ready to receive, ready to learn, ready to explore and learn. Giving ourselves permission to just be here. During this short time, we give ourselves permission to just be here. Let's take one more deep breath in, breathing in nice and deep. And as you release, opening your eyes in gratitude and coming back into the moment, slowly opening your eyes. And awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start with defining mindfulness. Mindfulness, and I will send the slides out in the Discord as well, and they'll be posted on YouTube. Mindfulness is a mental state of mind achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment. That means the now, while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations. We're simply here, focused on the now. This involves paying deliberate attention to the present experience without judgment or trying to change it. So mindfulness is all about simply observing what is happening. Okay, so simply observe, and we are the observer. We aren't trying to judge it. We aren't trying to figure it out. We aren't trying to change it. Simply observing. Okay, and to observe, it's to accept. Okay. Mindfulness practices often include things like meditation, right, where we are in a state of stillness and we are observing the activity of the mind. Breathing exercises where we are present, just like how we did with that grounding exercise. We're present in our body, present in the moment. Our focus is maybe on our breath and how our body is feeling when we're breathing, not judging. And other techniques aimed at cultivating a focused awareness. The goal of mindfulness is to enhance self-awareness, right? Because we are observing, we're learning how to simply observe. So that means if we learn how to observe, we can observe when our mind is doing things that we might not want it to do. So it's that self-awareness, or our emotions are doing things we might not want them to do, or we're behaving in ways we might not want. When things seem out of control, that self-awareness is what gives us more control over that. Mindfulness also helps us reduce stress, because if we are present, then we're not thinking so much. It's that thinking, that negative thinking that causes those negative emotions, right? So if we're thinking bad, we're feeling bad, we're worrying, we're not gonna feel good, we're gonna feel anxious. So overall, the more mindful we can be, the more we can reduce our stress. Helps to improve concentration, right? So for people who have difficulties with focus and attention, for many people, it's as soon as you get distracted, you're kind of off and you're distracted. Maybe you're reading, you read a whole page and you don't even remember what you read because you weren't present. You weren't being mindful. But when you can practice mindfulness and awareness of what your mind is doing, then you can improve your concentration. You can notice when you begin to drift and you can bring your concentration, your focus back. Mindfulness also helps to promote overall well-being. And one of the things I like the most about mindfulness is that it expands consciousness. Again, we could be living in this negative fear-based reality that our mind has been conditioned to create, or we can become conscious individuals and become aware of what our mind is doing and create the reality in our mind that we want, or we can simply be here in the present moment and look around and see the magic of the moment and actually connect to the magic that really is here. Okay. So what about mindful eating? What is mindful eating? So when we apply the practice of mindfulness to eating, this helps to encourage us to pay full attention to the experience of eating. And like I said, there are many different ways to practice mindfulness. Because it's Plant Therapy Thursdays, we're talking about mindful eating. Okay. So mindful eating encourages us to pay full attention to the experience of eating, both internally, right, your body cues, as well as externally, your sensory experience with the food. Mindful eating involves being present in the moment while consuming food, focusing on sensations, thoughts, emotions related to eating. Now, how many of us, we pair eating with watching TV, entertainment, many of us maybe are working while we're eating, we're doing other things while we're eating, but how often are we actually just simply eating and that is it? Right? We've been so conditioned to be doing so many things except for just that one thing, which is eating. So when it comes to mindful eating, there's some key aspects of that whole process. One is sensory awareness. And this includes engaging all of the senses while eating. This means noticing the colors, textures, smells, flavors, even sounds, right? There's this whole, what is it, AMSR thing, you know, people, the things that we find so entertaining. Another aspect of mindful eating is eating slowly, right? This was something I had to train myself out about after years of being in grad school and always being short for time. I learned to eat so fast. It was like I had to eat real quick before I get to the next meeting or the next class, next client. And this doesn't really do our body good, because that eating fast is putting us in that fight or flight state. And we know that when we're in fight or flight, nothing is really going to go well. So another key aspect of mindful eating is eating slowly, taking time to eat slowly, savoring each bite, paying attention to the physical sensations of hunger and fullness in your body. Another key aspect is non-judgmental attitude. Approaching food without judgment or guilt. Acknowledging thoughts and feelings without attaching negatively. Now, this is very important for people who maybe suffer from eating disorders such as body dysmorphia or anorexia or bulimia. There can be a lot of guilt surrounding eating, even when the foods are healthy. And that's because you are thinking. You aren't just being. Mindful eating is about being with the food, not thinking. Okay, we're observing the experience, not thinking about it. Okay, it's a difference. Another aspect of mindful eating is making mindful choices. Being mindful of the food choices, considering where the food came from, the nutritional value of the food, how that food aligns with your values, what you value in life. Do you value very sensual, fun experiences with your food? Or do you value things just being strictly nutritional? You don't care what it tastes like, you just want it to be nutritional, right? It's mindfully choosing what, rather than just, going in the store because you're having an emotional day and you just buy something just because it reminds you of your childhood. And then now later you're eating it with guilt, so that you're eating more of it because you're trying to distract from the guilt of eating it, right? This is how we get into those binge eating episodes. Okay. And then the last component of mindful eating is awareness of hunger and fullness, right? So when we are eating slowly, as I was thinking about my grandmother. My grandmother ate so slow. It would take her, we would be left the table, done the dishes, and she's still eating. She was always such a slow eater because she took her time with her meal, right? So she didn't have a lot of issues with digestion because she would take her time with her eating and she enjoyed it. Okay, and she wouldn't overeat either. Now, we would be overeating because, like, when you're eating so fast, you're not sensing those hunger cues. You're so focused on just the act of putting something in your mouth, or maybe the flavors, and just want to consume. Maybe you just want to finish everything that's on your plate, not even realize that your stomach is getting more and more tight. And now once you finish it, you come back to the present moment, you're in pain, because it was too much. Okay. All right. So overall, mindful eating can help to foster a healthier relationship with food, promote better digestion by slowing down, prevent overeating, and increase overall enjoyment of meals. It's a practice that encourages a more conscious and thoughtful approach to nourishing our bodies. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about how mindful eating affects our mental health. Okay. So mindful eating can help to reduce stress, right? So like I said, stress comes from us thinking about things that make us feel stressed. So by mindful eating, we are focusing on the present moment, which reduces the amount of time that we're spent thinking stressful thoughts, right? Thinking anxiety thoughts, okay? Being more aware of the sensations and emotions while eating can help people to be more attuned with their body signals, leading to a calmer eating experience. right? You don't, you know, when we think about anxiety, where is that in our body? It's either our heart or our gut, right? So if we are rushing through meals or if we're experiencing anxiety, that's all in the belly. So there's so much energy being allocated to whatever is happening in the belly from that anxiety that we can't expect it to optimally digest what we're eating. The whole vibe is off down there. Okay. Another way that mindful eating can improve our mental health is by improving our relationship with food. Many people have a very emotional relationship with food. It's not about nutrition. It became an emotional thing, especially, us coming from the South. Us as people of color, we have a very emotional tie to food. Mindful eating encourages a non-judgmental attitude towards food, choices, and eating habits. This approach can help us to develop a healthier relationship with food, reducing feelings of guilt and shame often associated with eating, thereby improving self-esteem and body image. Okay. Mindful eating can also help to enhance emotion regulation, right? Because when we're eating mindfully, we're acknowledging, we're being present to observe how we are feeling emotionally, how we are feeling physically, right? One thing that I've been practicing this mindful eating a lot more. And I've been noticing that I'm sitting down, because I'm still kind of trapped in the whole grad school mind of I got to get this done, get this done, get this done. So I'm sitting down to eat and then I start to pray, but I'm like rushing through my prayer and then my body's not even settled. So I will stop. I will take a few deep breaths and say, hey, we're not proceeding until we are relaxed, until we are fully here. And our body is in the best state to receive this, right? So I'm regulating my emotions. I'm sensing there's some anxiety happening. And I'm saying, hey, you have all the time you need right now. Just, you can take the time to just pause, right? And that helps me in the rest of my life. Like now, every time I eat, it's training me to be better at regulating my emotions in all the other aspects of my life, okay? Another way that mindful eating can improve our mental health is through better satisfaction and fulfillment, right? Because you are tapping into more of the essence of who you are, right? By tapping into these senses and observing these senses and really realizing that we are here to have a satisfying experience. We're here to have a pleasurable experience. And when we do the mindful eating exercise, I really want us to tap into that pleasure of it, okay? And not only the pleasure, but mindful eating also makes us appreciate, because we're thinking about where this food came from and how our bodies are responding to it. So it's going to generate both pleasure, but also a greater sense of gratitude. And when we get to the spiritual benefits of it, there's a sense of connection to everything that we can tap into, okay? And then another way that mindful eating can support our mental health is through decreasing emotional eating, including binge eating. These mindful eating practices can help us to become more aware of eating patterns and triggers for overeating, right? It's like, okay, am I really hungry right now, or am I just bored? Am I really hungry right now, or am I procrastinating? Am I really hungry right now, or am I stressed? How about I soothe that emotion? And then if I'm hungry after that, I'll eat, right? Because we're learning to just be present and be aware of what's our emotions, we're learning how to identify, this is an emotional situation. This isn't a physical need right now. Let me address the emotional situation, okay? And again, mindful eating is just a training ground for the rest of our life. All right, so let's talk about the physical health benefits. So in general, the more you practice mindful eating, it's going to promote making better food choices, encouraging us to select healthier, more nutritious options. I was reading on how people break addictions. And when I was working at this addiction treatment center, and one of the practices for people who are smoking cigarettes is that they would have them smoke a cigarette and actually sit there and be really present with it, and really immerse themselves in the experience. And a lot of people realized they didn't like the taste of it. And it burned, it didn't feel good at all. And they were just like, wait, why am I doing this? Right? So when we can be more mindful, right? I'm eating a slice of pizza and I'm realizing I'm starting to get heartburn. My body doesn't like this. It doesn't like it all. As much as I like the taste of pizza, my body doesn't like this. Maybe I need to find a cleaner form of pizza or find an alternative way to make it, or I just have to cut it out, right? So we're gonna make healthier food choices. I remember I went to, when I was back visiting home, I went to this, what used to be one of my favorite seafood restaurants in Atlanta called Bay Breeze. And I had already been eating clean by then, so my body was used to clean foods. And I ordered this like fried seafood platter. I'm eating it. I'm just like, oh, this is not good. But I kept eating it because it tasted good. By the end, I felt like my soul had been sucked out of me. I ignored my body cues. I was like, I'm gonna eat this. I didn't eat all of it because I was like, let me not overdo it. But literally, the itis is real. I hadn't, because I've been eating so clean. I hadn't experienced it in a long time, but it sucked the soul out of me. Okay, so and you don't like that, because now I have no energy to live my life. I have no energy to manifest. My vibration is low. I can't be, and at that low vibration, I'm opening myself up to negative energy entities. And we don't want that, okay? All right, so mindful eating often leads to a diet rich in fruits and vegetables and whole grains and lean proteins, things that actually make us feel good. And in doing so, mindful eating can also improve our weight management, right? Because we're paying attention to hunger cues. We're not overeating as much anymore, okay? Improving digestion. Because we take that time to eat slowly and to eat when our body is ready to receive, our digestive system can function more effectively. Because we're actually taking time to chew the food, right? How often are we just like chewing 2 times and then swallowing? And it's like, no, like you have these teeth for a reason, right? Food should not be coming out the other end whole. Chew, 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 because that's actually, your mouth is the first step of the digestive system. And the more you chew, the easier it is on your digestive tract. And you don't want to have a backed up digestive tract, right? Because when we talk about mood, we remember before we talked about depression, anxiety, serotonin, most of the serotonin is made in our gut. So if our gut is so bogged down with trying to digest and break down food that should have been broken down in our mouth, right? It's gonna lower our serotonin levels, okay? And then of course, if it's taking, the longer it takes for things to get out of you, the more they're decaying in you. And that's just waste seeping out. So you want things to be able to flow as they naturally should be, okay? Another way that mindful eating can improve our health is by reducing risk of chronic diseases, right? Because we're making healthier, more conscious food choices. And so we're making healthier food choices, and most of the health conditions of America are behavioral based. Stress and eating habits, right, are contributing to most of the chronic health conditions. Okay, so we can prevent things by like heart disease and diabetes and certain cancers just by changing the way we eat and how we eat. Okay. As well as another way that mindfulness can improve our physical health is just by helping us enjoy our food experience more, right? Letting our body be connected, savoring and appreciating the sensory experience, right? Utilizing our senses, right? Instead of like, like the whole, if you don't use it, you lose it. If you're just negating all the opportunity to really practice these senses, they're not gonna be as strong as they could be. But when you take time to turn on the sense of taste, to turn on the sense of texture, to turn on the sense of sound, right? You are strengthening those senses. And that's also going to improve your brain health because there's better communication, right? So if you're not using it, you're going to lose it. Okay, now let's talk about the spiritual health benefits of mindful eating. So just in general, we're going to be connected to the present moment. And in this present moment, this is where life is really, really happening. This is where you really have the power to influence things around you, right? Being in this presence helps to lead to a deeper spiritual connection. Because when we are present, we are truly connected. We are plugged into the experience of life. Mindful eating can also lead to more gratitude and appreciation, right? Because we're appreciating the food that we're having. We're appreciating it both in taking the time to prepare, to select it mindfully, to prepare it mindfully, to consume it mindfully, to express gratitude for it, and to honor all that went into that food. Rather than just scarfing it down, it's like, I'm gonna think about where this food came from. And I'm gonna honor the beauty of it, the taste of it. Everything is a spiritual experience. Everything has a conscious essence to it. So the more you love on it, the more it will love on you. Okay, so having that gratitude and appreciation. The awareness of the interconnectedness, right? The major thing that we have to realize is that we are a part of this all. So when we are engaging, like there's no separation between us. It's all perception. Separation is perception, right? So when we realize that we are a part of this whole system and we're connected, and this energy within this food is now coming into me, and then that energy is going to transfer into something else, maybe into a book that I'm going to write. Energy is never created nor destroyed. It's just always flowing and transforming around. And we are a part of that, right? So this helps us to understand our place in the world, right? It's a cycle. The seed, somebody had a piece of fruit, they dropped the seed, the sun, the wind, the earth, the water grew the seed. Somebody went and picked that seed and now, or picked that fruit. And now that fruit was placed on in this market. And then someone went and purchased that and now it's on my plate, right? It's a cycle. We are all connected. Everything played its part. Okay. Another aspect of spiritual health that we can benefit from when it comes to mindful eating is that mind-body connection. By tuning into our bodily sensations, feelings, and emotions while eating, we are able to develop a deeper sense of physical and mental experiences. This can help us to learn how to really make our mind and our body work together versus being so disconnected. The more our mind and body are connected, the more we can notice, oh, my mind is thinking something that doesn't make my body feel good. Or, oh, my body is doing something that doesn't make my mind feel good. And being able to correct that. So that way they're working together to create the best energy state. Okay. Let's see. And let's see. Oh, I think I might have messed up on that slide. And then lastly, mindful eating can help us to cultivate other mindful practices. Like I said, mindful eating it's beneficial in that moment, but also it's an opportunity to practice the skill of mindfulness, right? So because you take that time and you ground yourself and just, you know what, for this meal, I'm just going to do this. And that means maybe when it's time to do the dishes, you're just doing the dishes. And we're not driving ourselves crazy trying to multitask in every aspect of our lives. And I'm really guilty of that because I call myself the queen of efficiency. And I was trying to do as many things as possible and make things as efficient, but it's like, it's not healthy because it has you in this high activated state. We have to calm ourselves down. We have to practice that stillness. I think that last point on here was the risky behaviors and substance abuse. I think that was I forgot to correct that as a typo from the last presentation. Okay. So let's talk about how we practice mindful eating. So it starts with selection, food selection. Where was this food grown? Who grew this food and under what conditions, right? Where was it grown and what conditions? Now we hear Mr. Gates is out there buying up farmland in America. We don't want the stuff from his place. Go local. Go local. Okay. Make sure there wasn't a lot of pesticides or any pesticides sprayed on the things, right? You know, if you are eating animals, make sure those animals grew up in a happy, healthy environment, not in a shack where all they see is trauma and pain around them, because all that energy is going to be in the food. Okay. Also, what types, right? The food selection part is like, what types of food? Processed or whole foods, organic or GMO? The next dimension is food preparation, your cooking environment, right? Is your space messy or is it clean? Are you rushing or are you taking your time? Are you acknowledging that plants have a consciousness? One of the things I do before I cut, you know, I don't know if it was from seeing that movie. There's like a movie where it's like all the food is alive. It's like what's it called? Sausage Party, or it was something like that. It was like so, and that reminded me of the consciousness, but also we know through research that plants do have consciousness, right? You know, they say that there was some study done that had a person like cutting some vegetables and they could see the response of the other plants did respond, right? So one thing I do is that before I cut into anything, I give thanks. I also acknowledge where it came from, and I also bless it and hope that it is, you know, the most nutritious for me. Okay. So acknowledging the consciousness of the food, and then deciding how are you going to prepare this? Is it going to be raw? Is it going to be cooked? Obviously, for fruits and vegetables, raw is going to give you the most, for most certain things that you do have to cook to get more nutrients out. Are you going to do spices? Are you going to do flavors, right? Are you going to try to do clean spices, or are you going to have all these sauces that, you know, you bought the highest quality fruits and vegetables and highest quality meat, but now you're adding on these ingredients that kind of just, you know, all these additives and gums and food dyes that, you know, now kind of takes away some of the essence that food could have provided for you. How are you cooking it? Are you choosing the oven, stovetop, microwave, right? Are you microwaving things to zap it out? I know one of the shifts that I made, that I influenced my father to make too, was to stop microwaving our water. So when we have tea, when we have coffee, we take the time, right? We mindfully take the time to put that on the stove. Everything, right? Just moving away from using a microwave makes you way more mindful, because you're having to take the time to warm something up on the stove. Okay. Another dimension another step is the appreciation and gratitude. So now that you've selected your food, you prepared your food, next, before you consume it, you want to appreciate it. You want to give thanks for all the things that went into creating it. And you want to give thanks for the nutrition and the gifts that it's going to bring when you ingest it. And then there's the phase of consumption, right? What's your environment like? Are you eating in your car? Are you taking the time? Even last night, the power went out. It was funny. So I was like thinking about having like a candlelight dinner, and the power went out. So then I set up the candles. I was like, okay, I guess I'm having my candlelight dinner. And then the power came back on, but I'm like, no, I'll still have my candlelight dinner. So I turned off all the lights and I have my candlelight dinner because I just wanted to focus on just eating. And I had some music playing in the background, but I just wanted to have my little candlelight dinner with myself. Okay, so what's the environment? The pace. Notice, are you eating too fast? Are you even chewing enough, right? And another thing we can do mindfully is the tools. Okay? You see a lot of cultures that eat with their hands. This is actually the best way to eat, right? Because this is helping your body to keep track of how much we're putting in, right? Because because of the hands. When we have a fork, we don't really know how much is on there, right? Because you got the weight of the fork, you get the food. We don't really know. That's why babies, they eat with their hands. And a lot of other cultures eat with their hands, because this helps us, it's more intelligent to eat with our hands. Okay, so hands versus utensils. The type of plating. Are you using plastic? Are you using paper? Are you using wood? Ceramic? Those things make a difference. Okay. And the last step is the closing, right? As you're eating, noticing, okay, are you full right now? I didn't finish my food. It's okay. I can put it away, right? I can put it in a to-go box. Or maybe actually I am still a little hungry. So maybe I will have a little bit more, just a little bit more. Okay. And then how are you going to dispose of it? Right? Let's say if you do have some extra, how do you dispose of it? I know one of my houses, I love to have like a wall there. So I would just, all my food scraps from preparing and anything I didn't eat, I would just throw it over the wall and just throw it, because it's like a garden out there. I would just throw it over the wall. Maybe you have a food, what are those things called? I can't remember the name of those things. The decomposers or whatever, you put the food in there and then it turns into a good fertilizer for your garden. So those things. And then, yeah, so how are you disposing of your leftovers? I remember as a child, I used to actually save leftovers, and I would purposely save some leftovers so that way I could put it in the trash, hoping that it would reach some other child in need who was hungry. I'm not sure if it actually did, but it was the intention that counted. Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, compost. That's what it is, a compost. Okay. All right, so now we are going to move into our mindful eating exercise. So this is when you want to grab your snack. Okay. And we'll do this exercise. Oh, beautiful. Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. So this is the flow that I've come up with. But when you do your practice, you can kind of do it in whatever style. You can use this flow or you can kind of do your own. Okay. But what we'll start is with a moment of stillness, right? We've prepared our food and now we've arrived. We want to mindfully acknowledge that we have entered a different stage of our day. So now we can leave what happened in the kitchen behind, and we can just be here right now. So go ahead and kind of feel yourself arriving in the present moment. And just observe this moment. And in that observance, we acknowledge that we are about to enjoy something. So the next step, after taking that time to transition here and be in the present moment, make sure you have everything that you need, make sure that your environment is set. We take that moment of stillness. And then following that moment of stillness, now we do our moment of appreciation. So whether you pray, or you pray to God, to Allah, to Elohim, to the universe, or you express gratitude, this is that moment where we express appreciation. Okay. And what I like to appreciate, in my moment of appreciation, I like to acknowledge, I give thanks for this food that I'm about to receive. I give thanks to the plants. I give thanks to the animals. I give thanks to the wind, the sun, the rain, the earth, the hands, everything that went into creating this that I'm about to consume. And I give thanks to those who assisted in bringing this resource to me. Thank you, Most High, for the love. I give thanks for this food and the nutrition that it's going to bring into my body. I thank you for this expression of love. And I thank you for the healing that this food is going to bring to me. Ashe, amen, whatever you say. So that's how I express my appreciation. You might not even say anything out loud. You might say it in your head. You might just acknowledge, give thanks, right? But whatever you do, you want to be very present in that. And you want to really feel it. Okay. Like I said, I like to visualize how this food came to be here and appreciate every step of that process. Okay. And then the next step is observation. So go ahead and take a moment and you can, pick up whatever your snack is, but take a moment to observe the life, the essence of what you're about to consume. And you observe the colors, like, this is an interesting thing. Given that everything is a part of the all and everything is connected, this is an interesting aspect of the all. And by doing this observation, it almost puts us in that state of childlike wonder. And one thing that we realize is that we're just in wonder and we're observing. We're not judging. We're just simply observing. Curious. Okay. So the observation stage, right? And in the observation stage, you decide where you want to start. Okay. All right. So now the next stage is consumption. Right. And this is when, and also in the observation stage, you might feel the texture. You might smell. Okay. So now we consume. And while you're consuming it, connect to the taste, smells, temperature, textures, maybe even how it feels on your lips, and how it feels in your hand, any sound. Maybe noticing how many different textures are within that thing that you're eating. How many different colors are in that? Okay, get a close-up look. Zoom out, come close. How many different flavors are in that thing that you're eating? How many chews does it take to really break it down? And again, we're just observing, we're being present, we're giving this our full attention. Notice how it might change, as you eat it. Notice what emotions you're having while you're eating it. Notice what thoughts are popping up. And then, come back. And observe how your body's responding, right? Is your mouth watering while you eat it? Is the size of your cheeks turning up from the sweetness or the tartness of it, or from the nostalgia of it? Is your mouth maybe any more dry from it? Is your belly gargling from it? Or just notice how your body's responding. Again, this is just noticing, not judging, just noticing. Are there emotions of your younger self coming up? Or these emotions of your current self might be coming up? And you come back to the present, right? Because it might spark some thoughts right? It's inspiration, right? You consume the food and you might be inspired. And then you come back and you're like, oh, it's just me and this piece of fruit, this cracker, this noodle, whatever it is. And that love, have an intimate experience with that food. It's feeding you, it's serving you, and we're thankful for that service. Maybe the food is thankful for how we are being so present. We're not just throwing it back mindlessly, carelessly, just throwing it back. No, we are appreciating, right? Everything is consciousness, everything is energy, it's all connected, right? So the same way, somebody responds well to you when you show them love. Yeah, no thanks, no thanks. Maybe noticing the size of the bites you're taking. Was that bite too big? Right? I know when we talk more about our plant medicine, certain foods are going to make us feel calm. Certain things might make us feel more alert. How's your body feeling in response to what you just ate? Okay. All right, all right. So that's gonna conclude. So I want to make sure we take some time at the end to chat. So that's going to include our exercise. And I can imagine right now, you probably feel quite calm. You probably feel quite present. You probably feel quite connected. This is how we can use these plants and our foods and what we eat to heal us, to support us mentally, physically, spiritually. Okay. All right, all right. Okay, so I'm going to open it up. Any questions or comments? Let me hear about that experience for you.
I really enjoyed that. I'm a foodie by nature, so I tend to be one with my food. But
Mhm.
to actually just sit down and just have it explained and talk through like that was just amazing experience. I actually found myself being excited about today. Last night I was like, maybe I'll make myself some vegan chili. So I looked up a good recipe and then I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm really listening to myself and going through the process. Even when things feel like I'm not aligned or I may respond to something instead of, um, react to something and not respond in the way that I would like. I am so quickly drawn back into myself now. I'm so proud of me. Um, Even though, I using myself as a guinea pig, honestly, to understand and use the tools that I'm gaining knowledge through my therapy sessions, through my own personal studies. I just use myself as a guinea pig to know that these practices actually work. I no longer beat myself up anymore about the days that I might miss a practice, so this stuff works. I'm grateful. The combination of all of those things has helped me get through one of the toughest times of my life.
Mm.
Can't nobody tell me anything about the fact that meditation, body movement, and the food that you eat will not change your life. Because despite how things sometimes mostly are here, I'm okay. I'm maintaining my mental health, my physical health, and my spiritual health. I was just kind of looking at things the wrong way. Like I was beating myself up for no reason. Like you've been doing that, you've been that girl. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's all confirmation and for me, and I'm excited. Um, I'm glad to be. I'm just glad to be here. I had a moment this morning and I was like, okay, so what? Do you think you're supposed to be perfectly in alignment every single day, all day, girl? It's okay. Get back to you. And you are
Mm.
so fine. You know, it's when I was in Christianity and in the church, we would always look for a voice or some kind of sign or some kind of, it's our voice. It's our experience with the things that we are having. We're in it, we're doing it, it's happening. And I'm grateful that I'm at a point in my life where I can see my transformation because it helps during my times of disbelief in
Mm.
the visions that I've been given to create in life. So yeah,
Mm.
I enjoy this. I have my kale salad and my grapefruit. So it's like I'm gonna challenge myself to eat this grapefruit without this spoon. I was like, I'm gonna just bite into it, you know. So my little girl was like, yeah, use our hands. And then I started
Yeah.
thinking about all of the things that we used to get punished for or told were wrong or not classy or ghetto, when these things are actually helping our bodies to do and be
Mm.
exactly what we are. Um, yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm grateful. I'm 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 doing what I need to do despite how sometimes things look and feel. I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Mm.
So yeah.
Okay. That's right. And it's
Yeah.
you said so many things that we're gonna run out of time, but I did want to just highlight there is so many beautiful things you said, but again, it's you are so mindful, right?
Yeah.
You were so mindful, so self-aware, right? And in that self-awareness, in that mindfulness, you were choosing to talk to yourself nicely, and you're seeing how good treating yourself good makes your life and it serves you, right? So it's like we talk so mean to ourselves, not realizing that, or maybe we realize it, but we're talking so bad to ourselves, and that doesn't make us do any better. But now you were choosing to talk good to yourself, despite what the world try to program us to think about ourselves. And you are making choices. You're making those conscious choices. And now, when you do have a hard time, you've already made so many good decisions and grown so much. It's like you can't deny, like I look at the scoreboard. Like I'm doing the thing, like, and I can keep doing the thing, and I'm going to continue to keep doing the thing, continue to keep learning different skills and tips and tricks and all this stuff because I've seen this level of growth. I know that more is possible. Yeah.
For
So
sure.
so
For
proud of
sure.
you, so proud of
Thank
you, and
you.
I'm glad that you
I'm
enjoyed this.
proud
I
of you
wish I
too.
could. Thank you. I've been like that food you have is so pretty. I just want to like dive in there. I would love for you to send a picture to the group. Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, yes, yes. Maybe come through the screen. But yes,
Um,
yes, definitely
and
share that
I
beautiful
know we
picture.
have I know we have to go, but my tea is so pretty also. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like this beautiful, like sunflower
Mm.
color. I made it. It's got passion flower, um, calendula flower, and rose
Oh.
petals. And
Ah,
this is the flower. This is the flower that makes it so beautifully yellow.
oh, beautiful. Yes. Yes. And that's another thing. It's a mindful drinking too. Tea time, especially when you can
Oh
put
yeah,
flowers in it and drink flowers and eat flowers, all that stuff.
yeah,
Yes,
for
yes,
sure.
yes. All
Thanks, Dr. Makita.
righty.
This was
Very
amazing.
beautiful. I'm glad you enjoyed. That concludes our session. And we will see you all tomorrow for meditation and yoga. All right, peace.
Later.
Thank you so much for joining us for this session of the Soul Powerful Wellness Collective. I hope that this information brought you value and is helping to further expand your mind and elevate you mentally and spiritually. If you would like to join us for our next class, visit drmkita.com/SOL to join the Wellness Collective, and we look forward to seeing you there. Sending you peace, love, and light upon your journey. Stay soul powerful.